Hello everyone, good evening. Hi, this is Alok Ojha. Welcome to StudyIQ IS English. Am I audible and visible? Somebody please ping me so that I can begin with today's important session. Yes friends, am I audible and visible? Somebody please ping me. We'll just begin within the next 30 seconds. My friends, we have already covered ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history and modern Indian history. Yes, thanks a lot Divahari. So we have covered vivid aspects of these. Okay, yes, Divahari, good evening. Anna Gons, good evening. Thanks a lot. So my friends, we have covered vivid aspects of ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history and modern Indian history. But as a part of modern Indian history, we did not cover the important wars, correct? Like for example, we did not cover about the Anglo-Carnatic Wars. As you can see, that is a topic of discussion today. Apart from this, we also did not cover the Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, Third Battle of Panipat, Anglo-Mysore Wars, Anglo-Sikh War, Anglo-Burma War, Anglo-Afghan Wars. And specifically, if you read any particular books, many of the students are confused after reading so many characters. Okay, like they do not understand like who had led the Battle of Plassey. Like specifically as a part of Battle of Plassey, who was Mir Zafar, who was Siraj-ud-Dawla? Student gets confused. Similarly, as a part of Anglo-Carnatic Wars and precisely as a part of Second Anglo-Carnatic War, students are usually confused about who was specifically Asaf Jah. What is Nawayat dynasty all about? How did Anwar-ud-Din Khan come to power? Although Anwar-ud-Din Khan, he was just a regent. And later on, he was elevated to the level of Nawab of Arcot. So how did he acquire that position? So when you read any particular text, many a times there are so many characters that students get usually jumbled up. So here, in today's session, okay, the video would be approximately 40 to 45 minutes. And like in today's session, we are going to understand everything in a very gradual, step-by-step manner like a story. Like as we have seen previously ancient Indian history in the format of a story. Similarly, we have seen the modern Indian history in the form of a story and similarly medieval Indian history as a part of a story. So we are going to understand or throw light on all these battles in the form of stories. Is that clear? Yes, hello. Good evening. Okay, from Nagaland, good evening. Yes. MIZs, good evening. So guys, now without wasting any more time, let's begin our Anglo-Carnatic Wars. Yes, Kaizen, very good evening. So before I begin with Anglo-Carnatic Wars, let's go for a brief introduction about the four colonial powers that came to India and how did the struggle for supremacy between them began. Okay, so yes, the first question to you guys is, yes, I'll also try to cover that as well. I'll also try to cover the Assam history. Like as a part of medieval Indian history, I've tried to cover the Ahom dynasty. Okay, don't worry about this. So my first question is, who were the first European to come in India? Please do answer it. My friends, please do keep the session interactive. Who were the first European power to come in India? Yes, it was Portuguese. Okay, now let's understand about the game of struggle for supremacy. So you have to listen to me very, very carefully. Let's understand the things in the format of a story. Portuguese, followed by Dutch East India Company, followed by English East India Company, and then comes French East India Company. Portuguese were the first Europeans to come in India. It is believed that, like initially on 8th July 1497, along with armada of 4 ships and approximately 176 to 178 crew members, Vasco da Gama left the port of Lisbon and he was traveling towards the region of Cape of Good Hope. Now, while traveling to the region of Cape of Good Hope, he came across an island in southern part of Atlantic Ocean which was referred as Saint Helena Islands. And here he came, like he had a lot of skirmishes with a local tribe which was referred as Khoi Khoi tribe. And this information is mentioned in very few books. Okay, so Vasco da Gama, he had left Lisbon on 7th or 8th July 1497. He first came to St. Helena Islands, and here he had a lot of skirmishes with a tribe which was referred as Khoi Khoi tribe. Okay, in fact, many of the historians do write that he got very severely wounded. In fact, a spear pierced his thighs. Now, somehow he managed to come to the Cape of Good Hope. From Cape of Good Hope, he moved to Mossel Bay. And after crossing the Mossel Bay, he reaches a town called as Malindi, which is located in Kenya. And when he reaches the town of Malindi, here he meets a local Gujarati merchant whose name was Abdul Majid. And Abdul Majid showed him the direction towards India. And finally, Vasco da Gama landed on the coast of Calicut in 1498. And here, precisely speaking, this region was being ruled by Iradi dynasty ruler referred as Samutri, also referred as specifically Zemorin. Okay? Yes, good evening, Tipraji. So, specifically speaking, Vasco da Gama landed on the coast of Calicut. Now, after Vasco da Gama comes many other Portuguese travelers and governors. For example, after Vasco da Gama comes Pedro Cabral. Now, Pedro Cabral discovered Brazil on his way, and he called Brazil as Island of True Cross. After him comes Francisco de Almeida, the first Portuguese governor in India. Okay, and Francisco de Almeida, he had come up with a policy which was referred as blue water policy. When will the profit margin be high in the trade? Obviously, when you have a monopolistic control over the market in that region. And so, for that purpose, Almeida had come up with a policy referred as blue water policy. As per this policy, Portuguese is now going to establish specifically a monopolistic command or control over the trade in Indian Ocean. In fact, it is said that Almeida, like he also wanted to take the revenge of the death of his son, Lourenço Almeida. Okay. After Almeida comes Albuquerque, and Albuquerque, it is said that he made Goa as the epicenter of Portuguese economic activities. My friends, I did not say Albuquerque made Goa as his capital. Albuquerque made specifically Goa as the epicenter of Portuguese economic activities in India. Then after Albuquerque comes Nino Cunha, he made Goa as the capital of Portuguese in India. So with the passage of time, Portuguese had lot many factories on the east and the west coast of India. But after some time, Dutch East India Company came to India. My friends, Dutch East India Company is also referred as VOC, Verenigde Oost-Indies Campaign. It is also referred as United East India Company. Now, why it is called as United East India Company? Because it is said that Dutch East India Company was formed by amalgamation of 6 different companies. So, 6 different companies together formed a company which was referred as Dutch East India Company. Okay. Now, it is believed that specifically, there's a very major role that is played by a person whose name is Huygens in the formation of Dutch East India Company, precisely Huygens van. How? Whenever Portuguese used to explore new places, they used to make the nautical maps. And there was a Dutch traveler, he was also a traveler, he was also a merchant, he was also a writer. So this person, Huygens van, he was working as a secretary to Goa Archbishop from 1583 to 1588. And once upon a time, what did he do? He stole all the Portuguese maps. And after stealing them, he published a book. And that book was referred as Itinerario. Okay. He published a book which was referred as Itinerario. It had all the nautical maps that were being published by the Portuguese. Now, the Dutch government comes to know about this. He sold all these nautical maps to the Dutch government. Now, Dutch government wanted to explore, yes, actually, does India have a potentiality of spices? Does East Indies have the potential of spices or not? So, Dutch government, they sent one person. His name was Cornelis de Houtman. I repeat, Houtman. Okay. Now, Houtman, approximately around, this book was published in 1596. Houtman, he came to the region of India and Indies around 1597. And he went back around 1598. And he said to the Dutch government, yes, there is a lot of potential, specifically the trade in spices in the region of India and Indies. Spices such as cumin seeds, bay leaf, black pepper, nutmeg, mace, turmeric. So there is a lot of potential of specifically trade in spices in this region. So Cornelis de Houtman, he went back. And now Dutch East India Company was formed. Precisely speaking, there was a lawyer whose name was Johan van. Now, as I've told you previously, Dutch East India Company, it's an amalgamation of 6 different companies. Now, these 6 different companies were operative at different places in Netherlands. So there was a lawyer whose name was Johan van. He suggested that if all the 6 different companies will start trading in India, nobody will get the profit. Okay, so why don't we amalgamate them into one single company? And finally, a single company, Dutch East India Company or United East India Company, was created. And approximately around 1605, Dutch East India Company made their first base in Indonesia. And in 1605 itself, they established their first factory in India at a place called as Masulipattnam. Later on, they established a factory at Palikat. Okay, and at Palikat, they also built a fort which was referred as Fort Geldria. Is that clear? With the passage of time, again, Dutch East India Company started establishing factories across the different places on the east and the west coast of India. Now, let's talk about English East India Company. English East India Company, it was formed, like one more information I'll give you about Dutch East India Company. Dutch East India Company, it's the first multinational company of the world. Dutch East India Company is the first company to issue stocks. In fact, there is a charter of Dutch East India Company, and in that charter, totally there are 46 articles. And article number 10 of the charter of Dutch East India Company says that Dutch East India Company is going to launch IPO. So it is the first company to go for initial public offerings. Now coming to English East India Company. English East India Company was created by a charter of Queen Elizabeth I. And it is believed that the first person from the side of English East India Company to come to India was Captain William Hawkins. And Captain William Hawkins, he came in the court of Jahangir, who was the Mughal emperor at that time. But he was not given the permission to establish factory in India. After some time, Captain Middleton and Thomas Roe also came to India. And they were given the permission to establish factory in India. So, English East India Company established their first factory around 1613-1614 at Surat. And again, from 1615 to 1633, I repeat, from 1615 to 1633, English East India Company established factories across different places such as Agra, Ahmedabad, Broch, Balasore, and different other places. Okay? Now, one more important aspect. If you observe, the colonies or the factories of Portuguese were completely splintered. Similarly, the factories of Dutch East India Company were also splintered. But on the other hand, to manage their factories, English East India Company came up with a proper administrative setup. Very simple words. To manage the factories specifically in the southern part of India, they created a new presidency. To manage their factories in the western and central part of India, they created another presidency. And to manage their factory in the eastern part of India and northern part of India, they came up with new presidency. So there were 3 presidencies that were established by English East India Company. The first presidency that was established by English East India Company was Madras Presidency. Okay? Now, let's understand about how these presidencies were being established in short. Okay? Just give me a second. Guys, you have to pay attention carefully because all these concepts are very, very crucial for understanding the struggle for supremacy. Is that clear? Now, it is said that, like you might have studied in the medieval India specifically about the Vijayanagar Empire. There were 4 consecutive dynasties that ruled over the region of Vijayanagar Empire. Sangam, Saluva, Tuluva and Aravidu dynasty. So, at this particular point of time, Vijayanagar Empire, it was declining. And the last ruler, one of the last ruler was Damral Venkadri Nayak. So English East India Company approached Damral Venkadri Nayak and said, please give us a certain region for what we say construction of a fort. So specifically, Damral Venkadri Naik said, what will I get back in return? So English East India Company said that we will give you 50% of the customs trade, to which Damral Venkadri Naik accepted, and specifically a region was acquired. In fact, Venkadri Naik also gave the permission to English East India Company to fortify that place, to administer it, and to mint the coins. And in this manner, Fort St. George was constructed, and later on, this was elevated to the level of a presidency, which was referred as Madras Presidency. Okay? And the credit for creation of Madras Presidency goes to Francis Day. Please remember the name. The credit for creation of Madras Presidency of English East India Company goes to Francis Day. Another important presidency created by English East India Company was Bombay Presidency. Matrimonial alliances is one of the best ways specifically to increase one's power and influence. And there are many such examples in ancient and medieval India. Correct? Now, I'll give you a very simple example. You cannot believe that English East India Company got the region of Bombay as a part of a dowry. How? In 1661, Portuguese princess Catherine Braganza, she was married to Prince Charles II of England. And the entire region of Bombay was given to Prince Charles II. And Prince Charles II, approximately around 1686, 1687, gave the region of Bombay to English East India Company on rent. And the rent was 10 pounds per annum. And in this manner, Bombay was later on elevated to the level of presidency. And then comes a third important presidency that was created by English East India Company, which was Bengal Presidency. The first agent of English East India Company in the region of Bengal was William Hedges. Yes, Meghalaya, good afternoon. I repeat, the first agent of English East India Company in Bengal was William Hedges. Okay. Now, William Hedges, specifically at that time, the Mughal governor was what we say the Bengal Suba, the Mughal governor of Bengal Suba. Like, I'll give you a very simple example. From the time of Akbar, the what we say territories of the Mughal Empire started increasing by leaps and bounds. And to manage these territories, they were divided into different provinces. These provinces were referred as Suba. And there was a provincial head of the Suba or the provincial governor to administer this Suba. And the provincial governor was referred as Subedar. So during the time of Shah Jahan, Bengal was considered as the richest Suba. Like 60 to 70% of the trade just took place from the region of Bengal. Just Bengal alone. Okay. Now what happened further? Now William Hedges, he goes to the Subedar of Bengal. And during the time of Shah Jahan, Shah Shuja was the Subedar of Bengal. And he said that please give us a permission to trade in the region of Bengal. Now Shah Shuja said, same thing. What will we get back in return? Okay, this was a question put forward by Shah Shuja in front of William Hedges. William Hedges said that we will pay you 3,000 rupees per annum. Shah Shuja was very happy with this. And it is said that English East India Company established their first factory at Hooghly in Bengal. Okay, later on they established their factory in Rajmahal, they established their factory in Patna and so on. Now after Shah Jahan comes Aurangzeb to power. And during the time of Aurangzeb, the new governor or the new Subedar of Bengal was Shaista Khan. And Shaista Khan was also the maternal uncle of Aurangzeb. At that time, what happened? William Hedges, he went to Shaista Khan and said that continuously here we can observe one thing, that all the European powers are also trading here. So I am seeking a permission from you that I want to fortify this place. Shaista Khan did not like this. And Shaista Khan started attacking the territories of English East India Company. Okay. Shaista Khan attacked Kasim Bazar, he attacked Balasore, he attacked Hooghly, he attacked Hijli, he attacked Midnapur. And English East India Company was ousted from Bengal. Okay. In 1698, there is another important person who is referred as Sir Job Charnock. He comes and requests Shaista Khan, please allow us to trade in the region of Bengal. Till what time we are going to sit on the outskirts of Bengal? Please allow somewhere to trade in Bengal. So later on it is said that Sir Job Charnock, he purchased the Diwani rights of 3 villages, Govindpur, Sutanuti and Kalikata. And later on, this region was elevated to the level of a presidency, which was referred as Bengal Presidency. In very simple words, the credit for creation of what we say Madras Presidency goes to Sir Francis Day. And the credit for creation of Bengal Presidency goes to Sir Job Charnock. So this was a basic introduction of English East India Company. Now let me talk about French East India Company. Now it is necessary to understand these aspects before understanding all the key important things. Yes, Diksha, very good evening. Just give me a second. French East India Company. Now, from 1643 to 1715, the ruler of France, specifically speaking, was whom? The ruler of France was King Louis XIV. And King Louis XIV had a very intelligent minister whose name was Colbert. And Colbert suggested King Louis XIV that there are many European companies who are trading in India and Indies. What is Indies? Region to the east of India. Okay. So there are many countries who are trading in spices precisely in the region of India and Indies and accruing huge amount of profit. So why don't we start trading with India? So King Louis XIV asked his minister Colbert, do you have any plan? He said yes. He said that we won't be directly trading in India. We will first of all traverse the path of Cape of Good Hope. We will cross the Mossel Bay and we will make Madagascar as our base. And from Madagascar, we will start sending the ships in different directions. Okay, in all the directions, we'll start sending the ships. Like we'll send the ships in India, we'll send the ships in Southeast Asia. This plan was liked by King Louis XIV. And in 1664, a company was created, which was referred as Campagne des Indes Orientales, also referred as French East India Company. Okay. So, Campagne des Indes Orientales was created at that time. Okay, French East India Company. Is that clear? Now, as per the plan, it is said that Madagascar was made as the base. And after Madagascar, like there was a continuous skirmishes between French East India Company and other colonial powers. Now, there was a person whose name was Francis Caron. He said that it is not going to work in this manner. We have to directly lead a naval expedition to India. And Francis Caron in 1667 landed in India and established the first factory in Surat with the permission of Aurangzeb. Later on, they established their factory in Masulipatam. Later on, they acquired Pondicherry from Sher Khan Lodi. Okay. Now, this was the basic introduction of the 4 colonial powers in India. Did you understand this? Please answer in the comment section. Yes, guys. Please keep the session interactive. Diksha, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the compliments. Yes, did you understand this, everyone? Because understanding Anglo-Carnatic War, we need to understand its base first. Is that clear, everyone? Okay, very good. Now, next question that arises in the mind of every aspirant, if there are 4 colonial powers in India now, how come English East India Company became dominant? Or how come English East India Company dominated the scene? Okay? And finally, there will be 2 colonial powers remaining in India. Now, let's understand how. The first were Portuguese. After Portuguese comes Dutch East India Company. Correct? Now, continuously, there were skirmishes between Portuguese and Dutch East India Company. Continuously. And in that case, Portuguese were just confined to a very small region. Bombay, Goa, Daman and Diu and Bassein. On the other hand, Dutch East India Company expanded its territories by leaps and bounds. And when the battle was going on between the Portuguese and Dutch, English East India Company saw this as an opportunity to continuously expand their territories. So what happened? Portuguese were just confined to a very small region. So Portuguese is out of the race. Now Dutch East India Company and English East India Company. Now it is said that in 1623, there is an island in Indonesia which is referred as Amban Islands. Here, Dutch East India Company killed 10 merchants of English East India Company. And from here onwards, the rivalry between the Dutch East India Company and English East India Company began. Okay. But in 1667, there was a truce. Truce means like it was a kind of a peace treaty. Like English East India Company said to Dutch East India Company, we are not going to interfere in your territories in Malay Archipelago. Simple words, in the region around Southeast Asia. And we want what we say kind of a surety from your side that you are not going to attack our territories in India. Okay. Meanwhile, another person enters into India, or another entity enters into India, French East India Company. Now, Dutch East India Company started fighting with French East India Company. Okay. And later on, what happened? French East India Company was just confined to a very small region of Pondicherry. Okay. And again, there are two dominant powers, Dutch East India Company and English East India Company. Okay. Dutch is like Portuguese, it is out of the race. French East India Company, it was just confined to the region of Pondicherry. There's a long story behind this as well. Okay. So, French East India Company, it was just confined to the region of Pondicherry. Now, two major powers, Dutch East India Company and English East India Company. Now, what happened? Understand this. I'm going for analytical understanding of this concept now. With the passage of time, the ambition of Dutch East India Company, now they became over-ambitious now. Now, they also wanted to hijack the trade of spices in the Malabar region. And this was not at all liked by Maharaja of Travancore, Martanda Varma ji. So Dutch East India Company's official, whose name was Gustav van Imhoff, he said to Martanda Varma, please allow us trading in this region. But Martanda Varma said that I don't want any kind of a colonial struggle in my region. What will happen? Dutch East India Company attacked the territories of Maharaja Martanda Varma. And this is recorded in the books of history as Battle of Colonial, which was fought in 1741. Dutch East India Company had to face a very humiliating defeat. Why? Because the army of Martanda Varma, it was very well equipped. You cannot imagine, I was reading in one of the books, like the army of Martanda Varma also consisted of expert naval divers. And these expert naval divers were referred as muwakkar. I repeat, they were referred as muwakkar. They will enter into the sea in hundreds and they will capsize the entire ship. Apart from this, the army of Martanda Varma ji was led by a proper military strategist. His name was Ramayan Dalava. And in this manner, Martanda Varma emerged victorious and Dutch East India Company was ousted from India. Very simple words. Many historians do believe that Battle of Colonial that was fought in 1741, it was the last nail in the coffin of Dutch East India Company in India. Okay? Simple words. Dutch is also out of the race. Portuguese is already out of the race. Dutch is out of the race. Now, meanwhile, what happened? When all this was happening, English East India Company was expanding its territory. And French East India Company had a very good comeback. Like as we have discussed previously, French were just confined to the region of Pondicherry. But when Dutch was busy with war with Martanda Varma, this was seen as the best opportunity by French East India Company for a good comeback. And there was a French governor whose name was Benoit Dumas. I repeat, his name was Benoit Dumas. Benoit Dumas, what did he do? He captured the region of Karikal. So now there are only two powers remaining in India, English East India Company and French East India Company. Okay, so my friends, this was a very short introduction about the four European powers. Specifically, as a detailed, I have explained as a part of Modern Indian History series. Is that clear, everyone? So, precisely, this is the basic introduction. Now, let's understand how did the Anglo-Carnatic War began now. Okay? So, everything is clear as a part of this, I hope. Now, let's understand Anglo-Carnatic Wars. Is that clear? Yes, Vidyashri. Good evening. Okay? Now, please listen to me in a gradual step-by-step manner because I am going to explain everything in the form of a story. Everything. And to understand the first and second Anglo-Carnatic War, you have to listen to me patiently. You have to listen to me gradually. Because there are many characters. And precisely in second Anglo-Carnatic War, although first Anglo-Carnatic War is easy, but second Anglo-Carnatic War, you have to go through a lot of deeper understanding. So please pay attention carefully. Is that clear? Yes, Nesodara. Hi. Now, let's begin with first Anglo-Carnatic War. Now, first of all, what is Carnatic? Now, Carnatic, it is a region located between Bay of Bengal and Eastern Ghats. Now, how did French East India Company and English East India Company came into conflict in the region of Carnatic? I repeat, the region of Carnatic, it is located between Bay of Bengal and Eastern Ghats. Okay? Now, specifically speaking, French East India Company had major possessions in the form of Pondicherry and Karikal in the region of Carnatic. On the other hand, English East India Company had two important forts in the region of Carnatic. One was Fort St. David, which is located in Cuddalore, and the second one was Fort St. George, which is located in Madras. So, both French East India Company and English East India Company have their possessions in the region of Carnatic, or have their territories in the region of Carnatic. So, Pondicherry and Karikal, it was under the control of French East India Company. On the other hand, Fort St. David in Cuddalore and Fort St. George in Madras was under the control of English East India Company. Now, what happened further? Now, just remember one thing. Britain and France are not only fighting in India, but they are fighting throughout the world in the name of colonialism, in the name of colonies. You cannot believe that USA, which is considered as one of the strongest economy of the world today, it was initially a colony of Britain. There were 13 British colonies on the east coast of America. Correct? So Britain and France are fighting throughout the world. Hence, the wars between Britain and France is also referred as global war. Okay? Now, in 1740, please remember this date, in 1740, Austrian War of Succession began. Like who will sit on the throne of Austria? And Britain and France were opposed to each other. Now, what happened? This Austrian War of Succession also had its impact in India. How did Austrian War of Succession impact in India? In 1745, Britain started, or English East India Company started attacking the ships of French East India Company in Indian Ocean. Okay. Why? Because Britain and France were rivals in Europe as a part of Austrian War of Succession. So, the English East India Company started attacking the ships of French East India Company in Indian Ocean. And at that time, the French governor was Dupleix. Although it is written as Dupleix, it is pronounced as Dupleix. The French, the governor of French East India Company was Dupleix. Now, immediately, Dupleix, he informed the French governor of Mauritius, whose name was Bourdouanes. Please understand this entire game. English East India Company in 1745 attacked the French East India Company's ships, specifically in Indian Ocean. At that time, the French governor was Dupleix. Dupleix immediately informed the French governor of Mauritius. His name was Bourdouanes. Now, Bourdouanes, he came up with a naval expedition and he started attacking the ships of English East India Company in Indian Ocean. Bourdouanes, he destroyed many ships in Indian Ocean of English East India Company. In fact, Bourdouanes also captured the Fort St. George. And when the Fort St. George was captured, immediately English East India Company goes to Nawab of Arcot or Nawab of Carnatic, whose name was Anwaruddin Khan, for help. Please help us. French East India Company has continuously attacked our territories and they have also captured the Fort St. George. Now, Anwaruddin Khan, he invited the delegates from English East India Company. Anwaruddin Khan invited the delegates from French East India Company. He called Dupleix and told to both of them, I don't want any kind of a ruckus in my region. You both are fighting, it's okay. But in that case, I want the peace to be maintained in the region of Carnatic and precisely in the region of Arcot. Okay, this was said by Anwaruddin Khan to both the parties. When English East India Company left, French East India Company's governor Dupleix, He told to Anwaruddin Khan, why are you worrying? We have now captured Fort St. George of English East India Company. After some time, we will capture the entire region of Madras and we will give you this entire region to you. Now, Anwaruddin Khan became very happy. Now, French East India Company indirectly is trying to help me out. In simple words, French East India Company will capture the territories of English East India Company and give it to us. This was promised by Dupleix to Anwaruddin Khan. But after some time, it is said that Dupleix broke his promise. Dupleix said that we are not going to hand over the Fort St. George and Madras to you. Now this person, Anwaruddin Khan, he got so angry that in 1746, in 1746, he attacked French East India Company. Simple words, he attacked the region of Madras, which was now under the possession of French East India Company. Now, when he attacked specifically the French East India Company, it is believed that specifically, like he had to face a very humiliating defeat. And this battle is referred as Battle of Saint-Thome, which was fought on the banks of river Adayar. I repeat, the Battle of Saint-Thome, which was fought on the banks of river Adayar. 1,000 French soldiers defeated the army of 10,000 of this person, Anwaruddin Khan. Anwaruddin Khan now realized one thing. Single-handedly, I am not able to fight any European power. Meanwhile, in 1748, the Austrian War of Succession got ended and there was a treaty which was signed, which was referred as Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. So, very simple words, the first Anglo-Carnatic War ended with Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. As a part of this treaty, what happened? French East India Company returned back the Fort St. George to English East India Company and English East India Company returned back Louisbourg in Canada to French East India Company. So that was nothing but the first Anglo-Carnatic War followed by Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. Is that clear to all of you? Please answer in the comment section fast. Do you want me to repeat the point? I have no problem in repeating the points, but the concepts should be crystal clear. Yes? Is it clear, everyone? Everything has been mentioned as a part of PDF or PPT. Please do not worry about this. And you can download the PDF or the PPT of this Anglo-Carnatic War specifically from my Telegram channel, history_Alok Ojha. I repeat the Telegram channel, history_Alok Ojha. Okay? I'll repeat the points again within the next 30 seconds. Okay, Diksha, thank you. Meghalaya, thank you. Nesudara, thank you. Shubham, thank you. Okay, breaking. Okay, very good. I'll still repeat the points again within 30 seconds. In 1740, Austrian War of Succession began and Britain and France were opposed to each other. And at this particular point of time, in 1745, English East India Company started attacking the ships of French East India Companies in Indian Ocean. Okay. Now, after some time, it is believed that when they started attacking the territories in Indian Ocean, what happened? Like French Governor Dupleix, he called Bourdouanis. And Bourdouanis, he destroyed all the ships of French English East India Company. He also captured Fort St. George in Madras. Now, English East India Company requested Anwaruddin Khan for help. Anwaruddin Khan, he said, like, initially it is said that Dupleix offered something to Anwaruddin Khan. He said that I'll capture all these territories and give it to you. So he remained neutral. But after some time, Dupleix broke his promise. So Anwaruddin Khan attacked French East India Company. And that is referred as Battle of Saint-Thome, fought on the banks of river Adayar. And specifically, it is said that he had to face a very humiliating defeat. Finally, Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle was signed and Fort St. George was returned back to specifically English East India Company. So this was a discussion that we had. Now comes the most crucial point, Second Anglo-Carnatic War. And to understand Second Anglo-Carnatic War, you have to understand this chart. As I've told you previously, everything has been mentioned as a part of PDF or PPT. And you can download this PDF or PPT from my Telegram channel, history_Alok Ojha. Now you have to pay attention properly to this chart to understand the Second Anglo-Carnatic War, which took place from 1749 to 1754. Is that clear? This chart is important and I'll explain this chart, and if you listen to me properly, if you listen to me patiently, 100% Second Anglo-Carnatic War, all its characters would be crystal clear to all of you. crystal clear. So please maintain patience and listen to me carefully. Is that clear? From the time of Akbar itself, the Mauryan Empire, its territorial extent increased by leaps and bounds. And the Mauryan Empire was divided into different provinces, and these provinces were referred as Suba. And the head of Suba was referred as Subedar. From the time of Shah Jahan itself, it is said that the provinces again started increasing. And it is said that during the time of Aurangzeb, the provinces again increased. And at that time, the Bengal Suba was considered as the richest Suba. And Aurangzeb, he is also referred as Alamgir. And he was considered as one of the most fundamentalistic ruler of the entire Mughal dynasty. Now, Aurangzeb, he passed away in 1707. And after Aurangzeb, there were series of weak successors. Many weak successors were there, such as Bahadur Shah, Farooq Siyar. Then apart from this, there was Muhammad Shah Rangila. There were series of weak successors after Aurangzeb. So after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, there were many provincial governors, there were many subedars who started declaring their independence. And they were also referred as successor states. I repeat, after the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, there were many subedars who started declaring their independence. Okay. And they were referred as successor state. One such example is Nizam of Hyderabad, Nawab of Awadh. In the coming years, what we say, Nawab of Bengal. All of them started declaring their independence. So in 1724, there was a person whose name was Asaf Jah. Pay attention carefully. All the characters are very, very important. Okay. In 1724, Asaf Jah, who was the Subedar of Hyderabad, and Hyderabad also had an influence over the region of Carnatic. He declared himself as independent. He called himself as Nizam of Hyderabad, and Asaf Jah is also referred as Nizam ul Mulk. Okay, he assumed the title Nizam ul Mulk. Okay, as I have told you, the region of Hyderabad also had an influence over the region of Carnatic. As we had seen, the region of Carnatic, it is located between Bay of Bengal and Eastern Ghats. So the region of Carnatic was governed by one of the deputy governor of Asaf Jah, whose name was Muhammad Sayyid. Please understand this. The region of Carnatic, it was governed by Muhammad Sayyid. And he was a very loyal deputy governor to Asaf Jah. After some time, Asaf Jah said that you govern this region in an independent manner, but you will directly report to me. Okay. And there was a new dynasty that was formed in the region of Carnatic, and that dynasty is referred as Navayath dynasty. And the founder of Navayath dynasty was Muhammad Sayyid, who was given the title Sadat Ullah Khan by Asaf Jah. Okay. I'll repeat the point again. After the death of Aurangzeb in 1707, many of the governors started declaring their independence. In 1724, one such governor of Hyderabad was Asaf Jah. He laid the foundation of an independent dynasty which is referred as Asaf Jahi dynasty. Okay, and he assumed the title Nizam ul Mulk. As discussed previously, the Nizam ul Mulk also had an influence over the region of Carnatic. And to govern or administer the region of Carnatic, he had a deputy governor in the form of Muhammad Sayyid. He was very loyal. So he was given you can govern the entire region of Carnatic in an independent manner. So a new dynasty was created in Carnatic which was referred as Navayath dynasty. Okay. And Muhammad Sayyid, he was given the title Sadat Ullah Khan by Asaf Jah. Clear till here? Moving ahead. Now, this person, Sadat Ullah Khan or Muhammad Sayyid, he did not had any son. So, he was very worried about this, who is going to take care of Navayath dynasty after me? So, he did not had any son. So, what did he do? He had a brother whose name was Ghulam Ali. And Ghulam Ali had a son whose name was Dost Ali. So, Sadat Ullah Khan, he adopted his brother's son, Dost Ali. Okay? Sadat Ullah Khan did not had any son. Please understand the things in a step-by-step manner. Okay? Sadatullah Khan, he did not have any son. He had a brother whose name was Ghulam Ali. Ghulam Ali had a son whose name was Dost Ali. So he adopted his brother's son, Dost Ali, and declared Dost Ali as his successor. After the death of Sadatullah Khan, Dost Ali, he became the new Nawab of Carnatic. Okay? Now, Dost Ali had one son whose name was Safdar Ali Khan. Okay? And specifically, he had one son-in-law whose name was Chanda Sahib. Okay? Now, Chanda Sahib thought that specifically the kingdom will come to me. And obviously, Dost Ali will choose the successor whom? He will choose his son as the successor. So, after the death of Dost Ali, Safdar Ali Khan, his son, became the new Nawab of Carnatic. Please understand this. Okay? He became the new Nawab of Carnatic. And meanwhile, Chanda Sahib, he was being imprisoned by the Marathas. Please remember this story. Okay? Sadatullah Khan, he adopted his brother's son, Dost Ali. After Sadatullah Khan, Dost Ali, he became the Nawab of Carnatic. After Dost Ali had one son-in-law whose name was Chanda Sahib. He had one son whose name was Safdar Ali Khan. Okay? After his death, his son Safdar Ali Khan, he became the new Nawab of Carnatic. And Chanda Sahib, who was the son-in-law of Dost Ali, he was being imprisoned by the Marathas. Okay? After some time, Safdar Ali Khan, he was being killed by his own brother-in-law. It is not necessary to remember the name of brother-in-law. His name was Murtuza Ali Khan. So Safdar Ali Khan, he was being killed by his own brother-in-law. And again, the seat of Nawab of Carnatic, it became vacant. Now, it was a very big question in front of Asaf Jah, who is going to govern or administer the region of Carnatic now? Because Dost Ali, he has died. His son, Safdar Ali, has died. Chanda Sahib, he is imprisoned by the Marathas. Who will govern now? Now, Safdar Ali Khan had a son, but he was a minor. He was just 7 to 8 years of age. Okay. And precisely speaking, his name was Sadatullah Khan II. Okay. His name was Sadatullah Khan II. He was a minor, 7 to 8 years. So, Asaf Jah said, like Sadatullah Khan II will become the next governor of Carnatic. Sorry, next Nawab of Carnatic. But since he is a minor, he cannot take care of the administration properly. So, we will choose specifically Anwaruddin Khan as the regent. If you remember Anwaruddin Khan, Battle of Santhom. Okay. Anwaruddin Khan as the regent for Sadatullah Khan II, who is going to assist him. Okay. After some time, it is said that Sadatullah Khan II was also killed by Murtuza Ali Khan. Now, Asaf Jah finally said to Anwaruddin Khan, you govern the region of Carnatic. So, now Anwaruddin Khan became the new Nawab of Carnatic. Is it clear? So, after Sadatullah Khan won, Dost Ali, after Dost Ali, his son Safdar Ali Khan, after it Sadatullah Khan, and the Sadatullah Khan's regent Anwaruddin Khan became the new Nawab of Carnatic. So, this was all happening in this place. Now, what was happening in Hyderabad? Try and understand this now. In 1748, Asaf Jah, he died. Now, Asaf Jah had two sons. The elder son's name was Nasir Jung. The younger son's name was Salabat Jung. And he had a grandson whose name was Muzaffar Jung. Very simple word. Muzaffar Jung, Asaf Jah was the maternal grandfather of Muzaffar Jung. Now, although he had two sons, elder son Nasir Jung, younger son Salabat Jung, but he did not wanted Nasir Jung to become the ruler. Why? Because Nasir Jung has tried to kill his own father, Asaf Jah. So, he wanted his grandson to become the ruler. So, he wanted Muzaffar Jung to become the Nizam of Hyderabad. Okay. Meanwhile, one more thing happened. Chanda Sahib, who was imprisoned by the Marathas, he was also released from the jail. Now, Chanda Sahib comes to our court. Chanda Sahib comes to Carnatic. And when he comes to Carnatic, he observes that specifically, there is another person who has become the new Nawab of Carnatic, Anwaruddin Khan. This was not at all liked by Chanda Sahib. Now, Chanda Sahib, what did he do? he approached Dupleix, French East India Company, for help. So an alliance was created, Chanda Sahib and whom? Dupleix. Okay, that is French East India Company. On the other hand, Anwaruddin Khan started supporting Nasir Jung. So Anwaruddin Khan supported Nasir Jung. And if Anwaruddin Khan, who is the enemy of Chanda Sahib, he is supporting Nasir Jung. So what will happen? Chanda Sahib will support Muzaffar Jung. And in this manner, the alliances were created. Is that clear? I'll repeat again. Chanda Sahib, when he was released by the Marathas, you observed that Anwaruddin Khan is sitting on the throne of Nawab of Carnatic. So he is sitting on the throne of Nawab of Carnatic and is aspiring to become the Nawab of Carnatic. So he formed an alliance with French East India Company. Dual alliance. Later on, Chanda Sahib, he supported Muzaffar Jung against Nasir Jung. Triple alliance. If Nasir Jung, okay, he is opposed to Muzaffar Jung. So what happened? Nasir Jung is supported by Anwaruddin Khan and both of them are supported by English East India Company. So now the team is ready. Is that clear? On one hand, Anwaruddin Khan, on one like Nasir Jung and English East India Company. On the other hand, Chanda Sahib, Muzaffar Jung and French East India Company. Is it clear till here? Please answer in the comment section fast. Clear till here? Just 5-minute session more and then I'll stop. Okay, now let's understand. He is the Nawab of Carnatic. He is aspiring to become the Nawab. There is nobody on the throne of Nizam of Hyderabad. Now what happens later on? In 1748, Chanda Sahib, Muzaffar Jung and French East India Company, they attacked Arcot, which was the capital of Carnatic. And at that time, the Nawab of Carnatic was Anwaruddin Khan. All the three attacked this region. And when all the three attacked this region, Anwaruddin Khan thought that, okay, one important thing, Anwaruddin Khan thought that if these people reach Carnatic or if these people reach Arcot, it is impossible to stop them. So why don't we stop them at Ambur? So Anwaruddin Khan met the forces of Chanda Sahib, Muzaffar Jung and French East India Company at a place called as Ambur. And in 1748, Battle of Ambur was fought. And in this battle, it is said that Anwaruddin Khan died. And when Anwaruddin Khan died, what happened? The new Nawab of Carnatic is Chanda Sahib. So the goal of Chanda Sahib is accomplished. In fact, Chanda Sahib became so happy with French East India Company that he gifted 80 villages around Pondicherry to French East India Company. Clear? Moving ahead. Now what happened? Anwaruddin Khan has died. Chanda Sahib has become the new Nawab of Carnatic. Now Nasir Jung and English East India Company approached Wallaja. Who is Wallaja? He is son of Anwaruddin Khan. Now English East India Company and Nasir Jung told to Wallaja, don't you want to take the revenge of your father's death? Okay, you should take the revenge of your father's death and we will help you out in that. In 1750, there were two battles which were fought at a place called as Tiruvadi, which is located in Tamil Nadu. Okay, and in both these battles, Wallaja, Nasir Jung and English East India Company were defeated. In fact, it is said that Wallaja, he fled away from Tiruvadi and he was hiding in the fort of Jinji. And Jinji, it is located 50 to 80 kilometers from Arcot. He was hiding there. And the fort of Jinji, it was strategically very important and it was impregnable. But still it is said that French East India Company, what happened? French East India Company attacked the fort of Jinji and Wallaja also fled away from the region of Jinji. He fled away from there as well. So somehow he saved his life. Now, meanwhile, Nasir Jung, he was being killed by his own supporter whose name was Himmat Khan. And when Nasir Jung was killed, what happened? Muzaffar Jung, who was aspiring to become the Nizam of Hyderabad, the path is opened. Now Muzaffar Jung, he became the Nizam of Hyderabad. Clear? Now Muzaffar Jung, he became the Nizam of Hyderabad. He also became so happy with the French East India Company that he gave Masulipatinam to French East India Company. He gave 5 lakh rupees to French East India Company's troops. And apart from this, he gave 20 lakh rupees personally to Dupleix, the French governor Dupleix. Who? Muzaffar Jung. Is that clear? This is the picture till here. Now what happens further? After some time, unfortunately, it is said that there was a battle between Muzaffar Jung and Afghans, which is referred as Battle of Lakire-de-Palli, in which Muzaffar Jung got killed. Now French East India Company, what did they do? They made Salabat Jung as the next Nizam of Hyderabad. Salabat Jung, who was a brother of Nasir Jung. Okay? And Salabat Jung also gifted the region of northern Sarkars to French East India Company, such as Chikakol, which is referred as Srikakulam, Ellore, Rajamundri, Kondapalli. All these regions were given to French East India Company. So Chanda Sahib, Salabat Jung and French East India Company. On the other hand, Wallaja and English East India Company. Is that clear? Now what happens further? Now here, everything seems to be in favor of whom? French East India Company. But this is like a match. Everything will now turn upside down. How? Let's understand this. When all these things were happening, French East India Company thought that I had promised Chanda Sahib to make him the Nawab of Carnatic. We have made him. We have promised Muzaffar Jung to make him the Nizam of Hyderabad. We have made him the Nizam of Hyderabad. But the question is, where is Wallaja? 3 times he has fled away. 3 times. Where is he? And if we do not find him, he can pose a challenge to Chanda Sahib because he wants to take the revenge of the death of his father Anwaruddin Khan. So we have to find him at any cost. We have to take a revenge from him. Okay. After some time, they 3 come to know that English East India Company's Robert Clive and Wallaja, they are holding a secret meeting in the fort of Trichinapalli. Immediately the French forces, the forces of Chanda Sahib and Salabat Jung, they attacked the fort of Trichinapalli. And somehow Robert Clive escaped. Somehow. And when Robert Clive escaped, he came to Fort St. David in Cuddalore and he presented a new plan to English East India Company. And what was the plan? The plan was Chanda Sahib has sent 90% of his forces to Trichinapalli. And at this time, there are very minimum forces in Arcot. This is the best time to capture Arcot. Immediately, Robert Clive, just with 500 soldiers, attacked Arcot and Chanda Sahib fled away. Later on, he was being killed by Marathas. And later on, Wallaja was now made as the new Nawab of Arcot or Carnatic. After this, the Dupleix, like Robert Clive, he attacked the region of Kovlong, he attacked the region of Chinlapet, and he conquered these French territories. Now, Dupleix was not successful. In fact, there was a person whose name was M. Astruc. He was a French military commander. He was also imprisoned. Finally, another person whose name was M. Godau. He was being sent by the French East India Company to restore peace in India. And finally, the Second Anglo-Carnatic War ended with Treaty of Pondicherry. And both of them restored back their individual territories. Is the point clear to all of you now? Yes, please. So this is nothing but Second Anglo-Carnatic War. Clear, everyone? Yes. So in tomorrow's session, we'll be speaking about the Third Anglo-Carnatic War, and then I'll begin with the Battle of Plassey. Again, a very important battle recorded in the books of history. Very, very important one. Meghalaya, thanks a lot. So please do not worry. Everything is available as a part of PDF or PPT. And you can download this PDF or PPT from my Telegram channel, history_Alok Ojha. Okay? Okay. Thank you. My friends, StudyIQ IS has come up with GS Foundation P2I batches 2027 and 2028. These batches are completely based on SMART model. Okay, around like just after what we say 4 to 5 minutes, I and Ankit sir would be explaining in quite depth and detail about what is SMART model about. So we have a proper structured classes. There would be a mentor who would be guiding you throughout your journey for the preparation of civil services. Proper assessment, proper PDF would be provided to you. Proper revision strategies there. And the prices for these batches are starting at 11,999. The major problem that is faced by the aspirants precisely from southern part of India and northeastern India, that batches are majorly not available in English language. My friends, as a part of this, it is said that there's a complete core batch in English medium. All the subjects would be taught to you completely in English, Rather it be history, geography, polity, economy, science and tech, current affairs, everything. And the prices for the batches are starting at a very affordable price of 11,999. So use the code Alok Live that is flashing on your screen to get the benefits of these batches. I repeat the code Alok Live. Clear? Yes, Manish ji, Second Anglo-Carnatic War ended with Treaty of Pondicherry and both of them restored back their individual territories. Third Anglo-Carnatic War will throw light tomorrow and the Third Anglo-Carnatic War will end with Treaty of Paris. Nivetha, thank you. Thanks a lot. So my friends, so specifically the batches are starting on 6th of June. It's an evening English medium batch. Batches are available for 2027 and 2028. Is that clear? So with this, I'll stop my words for the day. See you guys tomorrow with Battle of Plassey. Thank you and have a very, very nice day. Bye-bye everyone. Jai Hind. Yes, hello. Thank